Let's talk about chapter number 10. The first thing I wanna I wanna talk about is an idea of budgetary control. Okay, so um, budgetary control is basically um, um, so we have what you already did is you created budgets, right? You created budgets in the previous chapter, and what was that? That was um, your future plans, basically, for the next year. How much sales you're gonna be? This company is going to be selling, right? This how many products? What's the price is going to be? What the production will going to be is going to be. So it's all about the future plan, and 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 a similar idea is like, it's like a flight plan, right? So before the pilot goes on a trip, let's say from Reading, Pennsylvania, to Toronto, Canada, they want to have a flight plan of where and you want to write down which type of aircraft are you using, what time it will fly, what's the speed of the plane is going to be, what's going to be the height of the flying plane. So if it's 30,000 feet, it's going to be 30,000 feet. Okay, so let's say at 30,000 feet, then route. So your plane will fly from Reading. Then it may pass through, because there are many big cities along the way. As an example, maybe New York City, a little bit off, but and then you have Rochester, Buffalo, upstate New York type cities. Before you get into Canada, and then you get a big city like Toronto. So you want to make sure on a map exactly what that route will be. So the idea is, before you even fly, you gotta have a concrete plan for your flight. Same thing for the business. When you make a budget, you must have some idea. So I'm looking at this discussion between this male and a female, and it says we need to cut production costs and increase sales. So this is kind of a future plan. Okay, so I'm starting from here. If this is what there's what's needed, then you make certain plans how you're going to achieve that. Of course, you're going to talk to the sales manager, you're going to talk to the production manager, how you're going to increase sales, and how you're going to cut production costs. Once you have this plan, you're going to develop a budget, right, which is a concrete number by number sort of tables of what your accounting will look like in the future. So it's a very a concrete budget plan, which you did in the previous chapter, and then eventually you have a budget. And then when the actual time comes in the future, now you're in the next year, and you will see your actual results, and you're going to compare between these two, and you're going to learn from it. And that learning is what this is about. So there's a control here. You're telling your employees, your junior managers, what senior management and what this company expects from you, and then eventually you're trying to see whether this is happening over the future time. So it's a great tool to manage your company, so that the company gets to its destination, which is not Toronto in this case. In this case, you want to achieve certain profit targets. So budgetary control is a great way to achieve that. And budgetary control, the idea is, once you have that budget, you will create smaller reports, and it can be a sales budget report, and you can have the frequency of that report every week or every month. And what's the purpose of the report? You can see the difference between the actual results and the budget, what was the budget number for the sales, for example, and who's going to receive that report. So let's say if you're talking about sales report, you want to have the sales manager and the senior management in there, because your senior management wants to see if your manager is doing that. So there should be a clear responsibility here. But if you're giving too much responsibility for one manager, and then the budgets don't work. So that's why I put this picture in there. There must be a clear responsibility and authority for the manager, so that he or she can demonstrate that that he has done the work and for the next year. So as an example, sales seems very nice report. Sales report is very weekly, because you want to make sure your sales are going on track. Sales gotta do a big thing for your profit, right? So and you can see your top management gets to know this, and who's the recipient of this report, right? And your sales manager. So this is what recipient. The idea is that your top manager will be looking at the sales number, and if the sales are not doing good, of course top manager and sales will have a meeting. So you want to get the responsible manager and also the people who are in control so you can stay on track in terms of sales. The same idea is for the labor report and for other cost type of reports. So here's a quick question: budgetary control involve all but one of the following. Of course, modifying future plans, because once we learn from budgetary control reports what's the difference between the actual and the budget, you can modify future plan, you can fix things, and you can analyze the difference between the actual and the budget using static budget. This is something we're going to learn next video. So for C is not something we have done. And then determining differences between the actual and plan results, of course. So A, B, and D is right. C, using static budget is something that is not under budgetary control. Okay, thank you.